Alrighty guys, hi, welcome back to our second video of our Tarot Class 101. And guys, I'm going to try to be as succinct and to the point as possible to keep these videos like not too long, right? Where you're able to just come to the video and get the information that you are seeking. But you know, Tiff talks, right? So so don't hold me to a short video, but I'm going to try my best to keep them short, all right? So in this particular lesson, we are going to talk about the composition of a tarot deck, right? What makes up the tarot deck? So a traditional tarot deck consists of 78 cards. So they're divided into like two categories. One being the major arcana, which is 22 cards, and then the other half, 56 cards being the minor arcana. Oh, but that's different, right, from a traditional oracle deck, right? Oracle decks are more, the messages are more of general messages. And the way that I look at it is you sometimes would get a general message or an overall message or meaning from an oracle deck or an oracle card. And then you kind of clarify with the tarot to get more specific detail about the overall message, right? So sometimes a good general message will do, okay? So you can use your oracle deck for that. But if you want the specifics, then you go to tarot, okay? So what's the difference in the major and the minors? Arcana, Arcana. The major arcana, like I said, not only is it just 22 of them, like the name, they are indicative of like major life occurrences, right? So these are the things that are kind of a big deal. They also kind of reference what's happening to the individual, the person in the deck internally, but also externally, right? So we see we'll say you, the viewer, would be represented by the Fool in the tarot card deck, right? So the Fool kind of starts their journey on the beginning, and then we see them realize their own skills and abilities. They strengthen themselves, they strengthen their intuition, they strengthen their connection to the divine, they do some soul searching, they improve their confidence, they're learning life lessons, they're letting go of certain things, all the things, right? So what's happening with them internally, but also what's happening externally that is major, has a potential to be, you know, life-changing, right? These are the things that we kind of, or these cards represent the things that we've kind of all been through, or we will at some point potentially experience, okay? So those contain the lessons, the milestones, the climaxes, the aha moments, and they, in a reading, they kind of set the tone for the reading, so it's very important to pay close attention to them for total clarity. Like, they are important. I look at it like the majors kind of set the overall energy. Like, for example, say I lost a major important relationship and I'm grieving that situation. But then the minors are going to tell you who that person was, what the relationship was, the significance of it, those things, like the details of it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, guys. And we're going to go through and talk about, you know, in the subsequent videos, we're going to go through and talk about individually what each card means. Y'all know me. I got notes and outlines, okay, of what I want to include on every video. But yes, we have the major arcana made up of cards ranging from the number 0 is a number, from the number 0 to the number 21. And then the minor arcana, those, like I said, are kind of less significant energy, but the detail is the value of that, right? It gives you the detail of the daily life, of your daily life, and how it's affecting you. If you were just kind of wanting to do a personal daily reading for yourself, where you may pull 1, 2, or 3 cards, you are subject to get any of those, right? Depending on what spirit is wanting to tell you. But it's still important to know the significance and the potential impact, right? So say you pull if you just want to pull an oracle card and it's like, okay, that doesn't feel like enough information, right? Then you want to pull your tarot cards, and whether you get major or minor arcana, you get the details that you need with that minor. So yeah, the minor arcana, less significant energy, but details, right? And how it is affecting you. Now, the difference in the major arcana, like I said, it's only those 22 cards, but in the minor arcana, they are broken up into 4 different suits, right? And suits is just like a symbol, kind of like in a regular card game or regular deck of cards, right? Suits, clubs, diamonds, whatever, right? Those are not the same as in tarot, but it's similar in that suits, all of these particular cards belong to this particular stack, right? So in tarot, the 4 suits are air signs, which are air, which would be swords, which would represent your mental state, communication, the thoughts that you have, right? Or you have fire signs, which would be the wands, which is all about your passion, and it's about action and wanting to take action or needing to take action, right? It is the spirit of what it is that you're doing, right? Your ambition, your goals, right? The movement part of it, okay? Definitely masculine energy. That's a whole nother thing too. But then you also have water, which would be the cups. And think of it as water being something that's fluid. Fluid flows your emotions. So the cups are all about your emotions and how you feel, or what you feel towards someone, or the feeling or emotion that you need to or are embodying at the time. And then lastly is earth, which is the coins or pentacles in some decks, right? Depending on your deck. And there are so many different types of decks to choose from. So that's why I've already pulled the major arcanas from 4 different tarot decks that I have. I definitely wanted to include the traditional ones, but that's the fun of it. It's so fun, y'all. That's the fun of it, being able to get different decks from different illustrators and different authors, right? Who interpret the symbols or the meaning of the card in their own unique way and illustrate it accordingly. Which is all the more reason why it's important to really know what the card means and what it stands for, so that you can kind of have that understanding no matter what deck you choose to pick up. Right? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But yeah, the earth, the pentacles, the coins, that's more about the tangible energy in your life. So this is the things that you can feel. It's your money. It's what's really happening in real time. It's your money. It's your wealth. It's the things you value. I said your wealth. Yeah, the things you value, your coins, your funds. It can also be health if you want to read like that. Spirit told me not to include health in these meetings. And I don't typically do health readings. I do them for clients that I have an established connection with. But for the most part, I don't do health. But if I was reading for myself and I had questions concerning that, then I would definitely do it. But that's where else I want to go with that. So the beauty also of tarot is, even in one little card, you can get significant different meanings, which is why it's important to understand and know them all, or be familiar with them all, right? What do I mean by that? I mean, there is a spiritual meaning. There is, what do I want to say? You can get a spiritual meaning. You can get an emotional or mental meaning, a health meaning, a meaning in love, a meaning in career, right? Whatever it is that you have questions on, you could get some of the same cards and get a different meaning from them depending on what it is that you're looking for and what it is the Spirit's trying to tell you. That's the beauty of it as well, but that's also the importance of really knowing what the card is meaning, or what is indicated by what's represented on the card. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, y'all. So yeah, what's in a tarot deck? We got the composition with the major arcana, the minor arcana. We talked about the suits and their meanings. Oh, then we also have the court cards. Oh, let me go a little bit more, because maybe I have notes. I wrote this a really long time ago. But with the swords represent, I already said this, but I'm gonna run it back real quick. So swords represent intellect, logical thought, or reasoning, right? Truth. You often hear me say the sword of truth if you see me do readings with that Ace of Swords energy. Justice, ethical practices, what is fair, mental clarity or lack thereof, right? The wands, that passionate energy, is creativity. We talked about that. Action. It is movement. It is enthusiasm, that passionate energy. It's risk-taking. It is confidence. It is masculine, like I said. Yeah, it's the yang energy, the energy of getting shit done, okay? The next one being cups, emotions. It is spiritual experiences. It is your inner feelings. It may be your subconscious feelings, the feelings that you either know of and repress, or the ones that you have yet to acknowledge, so they're kind of subconscious. It is relationship patterns with those feelings. It is indeed feminine energy, right? It is a mood, like I said, with the flow of water. Water can be a disastrous type of force, or it can be calm and soothing and relief creating, right? So just like our moods change, that flow of water, the emotions, is that type of energy. And then lastly, the pentacles or the coins is a practical, tangible energy, material energy. Nature, being outside as well, is strongly connected to that earth energy, coins energy. Plants, animals, your prosperity, your wealth, your health, goods and services, okay? What else do I want to tell you guys about those suits? Nothing right now. But if I think of it and you have a specific question about the card, hopefully it comes up when we get to the card. Okay. What else? The court cards. So the court cards are the people. Okay. So the court cards are the people. They can be literally people, or they can be energy, right? The energy of that particular suit of cards. So you would have, like in a traditional play deck of playing cards, you would have like the Jack, the Queen, the King. Those are the court cards. In tarot, very similar but not the same. You got the Page, the Queen, the King. Who else? Oh, and the Knight. I skipped it. Page, Knight, Queen, and King. Child. Okay, y'all know what I'm saying. No, I don't. I don't want to give y'all that. I want to be in order. I swear, I feel like I just had a brain fart or freeze, whatever. It ain't working. Yeah. So we got the King, the Queen, the Knight, and the Page. Duh. So the Page is often that feminine energy. The Knight being the masculine energy. Then the Queen and the King. But it represents stages of mastery. So that Page would kind of be the younger, more immature energy. The Knight, I look at it kind of like the young adult energy, where it's like I'm not so immature where I don't know nothing, right? I'm kind of learning lessons and I'm learning to apply them and to really move and take action or to not move, right? But I haven't like fully mastered this energy. And then the Queen is like, okay, I have a better grip of understanding of the suit of what action to take as well. And then the King should be in full mastery of whatever the suit is or the action is, right? Even though like you can still be, or you could be destined or needing to be in the energy of King, and because of something that you have not studied or looked at or grasped fully yet, a concept or a life lesson or whatever the case, you may be the age of the King, but in the energy of the Page. All right, like you just a baby in this journey, this part of the journey anyway. So yeah, so those court cards are definitely more powerful than the number cards, because the number cards are the fool still kind of on the journey, taking the steps to move through whatever the situation is. By the time you get to the court cards, the Page, the Knight, the Queen, and the King, those are different levels of maturity, of skill sets, of understandings, and they kind of have more weight than the numbers in minors, right? So, like I said, many of these cards have double elements, double meanings, etc. And we're going to talk about it all. What else in this video, though? Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. What you can get from one card, the multiple meanings. So we already kind of covered that, right? Like I said, you can look at one card, or I think too, what's easiest too, what most people see, because I don't know why it's so much easier though, is to look at it and automatically make it about love or a love situation, a romantic situation. But because there's a tendency to do that, it's also why I think that a lot of readers only end up reading about love. And then a lot of the viewers are like, no, that's not happening in my life. Like, I ain't met nobody new, or I doubt my ex is thinking about me. But then they looking at this reading that these people have made about love when Spirit didn't want it to be about love in the first place, not the way that we're thinking about it. But I think it's the easiest interpretation to grasp, maybe because we all innately love, right? It's like a natural thing. So it may be what's easiest to grasp. And so I feel like that's how people automatically read on it, instead of, and they look at it as like love between man and woman or same sex, whatever the genders are that you are into. They look at it automatically as those types of relationships, when love can be about anything from a heart space, right? You can love and have partnership with businesses, with companies, right? So while people are reading it like it's a love reading, this is something that's really actually meant for your career or your other professional or ambitious goals, right? So that's why it's super important to have an understanding of the cards, because not everything is a love reading. And I feel like that's part of the reason why people get so hooked or addicted to tarot. They get addicted to hearing that something amazing is happening in love. And the truth of the matter is, most of the people who are thinking that's what they want and they're craving, they're not ready for it anyway. And Spirit's been trying to tell them that for a long time. And here they are still waiting on somebody from the past to reconcile with them, when it's really that they need to reconcile the past, come to terms with the past. Child. But that's what happens when you know more. You have a big say it, Tiffany. When you know more, you have a bigger and broader and better understanding of the message that's trying to be conveyed. Intuitively, as you strengthen your intuition, you're going to pick up on those things quicker as well. So when I say the whole exchange of reader and viewer is intuitive, it is intuitive on both parts, on ours and the viewers, right? Yeah, so what's in the tarot deck? I think we kind of nailed it, and we are going to move on to our next class. What is it that you need to do before you start the reading? These are some things that I wish people had shared with me, or at least given me or expressed like the importance of it. But that's okay. My guides had me. I'm so grateful for divine protection even when, I don't realize I need it. Okay. But that's going to be our next course, our next class. See you there. Hope this was helpful, guys.